upon our pallet shelter model. We are adding and currently hiring for more outreach workers, and we're releasing our homelessness action plan with 6 pillars of work that went before the Housing and Homelessness Committee last Monday and will go before the full council for, fingers crossed, final adoption on October 11th. The city of Riverside is not approving the anti-camping ordinance as a strategy to push our homeless neighbors into other cities and surrounding areas. We view ourselves as an important partner in the 2nd District Santa Ana River Bottom Encampment Response Collaborative, and we continue to be dedicated to collective and continuous action with surrounding cities. Our goal with this ordinance is to reduce fire hazards that will facilitate a safe environment for those experiencing homelessness, for wildlife, for residents, and for businesses. We've had 63 fires in my district alone in the riverbed in this calendar year. Firefighter injuries, it's a hazardous area, and it puts the lives of those who live in around the river bottom at risk. We modified actually the ordinance from the first read in August based upon the helpful feedback from the ACLU, which matches our intent and also our current practice. And the city of Riverside would welcome Continuum of Care members to make comments at our October 4th city council meeting, where we'll have our second and final reading of the ordinance. It's on the agenda as number 16 at our 1 p.m. session on the consent calendar. In the meantime, I am happy to share more with those in this meeting one-on-one. And I did put my contact information in the chat. And then finally, Karen Roper and county staff have added this item as an agenda item for the October 26th Continuum of Care meeting, where my colleague, Dr. Larissa Villarreal, and I will share more about the services and our Housing First approach and all the work we are doing alongside you and as a region to serve and house those living in the river bottom. Thank you for your time.
Councilmember Edwards, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk about this. As the chair, I do think it is super important that we have a very open and collaborative discussion about city ordinances for anti-camping so that our Continuum of Care members all feel that they're at the table and that we all have the same goal, which you articulated really well, which is first and foremost to make sure that we're connecting our homeless neighbors with shelter, housing, and services. So I look forward to this agenda item next month and want to thank you and city staff for being willing to talk about it, because I think it'll be good education, not just for our Continuum of Care members that are at the table doing such a great job helping folks every day, but also even for support for other cities and all of our partners. So thank you again. The next person that is listed to make a public comment is Katie Gilbertson. Katie, you have the floor.
Hey everyone, I'm Katie Gilbertson from the Safe Family Justice Centers. I actually just want to share very briefly about a different service that we're working and using right now that affect our population. So we have obtained an account from an organization called ReloShare, which provides emergency hotel stays for survivors of abuse, specifically survivors of intimate partner violence. And what we've elected to do with our ReloShare account, the reason that I think it's important to share that here is, number one, we can house a survivor who needs emergency shelter overnight. And one of the benefits of the ReloShare program is that it allows for us to book an alias room. So if we have a survivor who has an extreme safety issue or does not have an identification card or a debit or credit card to put down a deposit, we can book that room on their behalf for a short period of time. And the purpose of this service is to sort of fill in the gaps that we have with our local shelter organizations. So for example, we partner very heavily with Shelter from the Storm, as well as Alternatives to Domestic Violence. And often we have a shortage in bed space when it comes for survivors of abuse. So the alternative method that we've been working is to try and use our hotel stays as a go-between, so that if we know potentially shelter will be available tomorrow or the next day, we can potentially cover the shelter costs for the client until they're able to get into a domestic violence shelter. So I just want to share this with everyone and let you know that it's available. What we've done in addition to this is There is also a shortage on 24-hour victim advocacy for survivors of domestic violence in particular. And so what we've done is we partnered with the Riverside Police Department, Marietta, Menifee, and Temecula Police Department, who all have access to after-hours reload share services from our account. And if for some reason we're not able to place a survivor in an emergency in shelter that night, they can book a hotel room on our behalf, and we will follow up with them tomorrow for case management services. So I just wanted to share that because we've never done anything like this before, and we're excited. I can't promise that we're always going to have funding for it, but I want you to know that it exists and that our attempt is to try and help as much as possible. That's my update.
That's fantastic. Thank you so very much. We really appreciate the great work that you're doing and look forward to collaboration. So thank you. It looks like we have a comment from Norma Beagle. There's Norma. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and hand it over to Michelle Davis. It looks like Michelle would like to make a comment, our lovely vice chair.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to first congratulate the Riverside County Workforce Solutions and Riverside University Health Systems Behavioral Health for the award of $29.5 million from No Place Like Home for the construction of nearly, I believe it's 150 permanent supportive housing units that we've built in Coachella, Riverside, and Wildemar for persons who are in the need of mental health services and are experiencing homelessness, chronic homelessness, or at risk of chronic homelessness. So want to congratulate our team members for that great award. We also want to recognize the Santa Ana River Bottom resource fair is being held today, this morning. And so a lot of our team members from Riverside County Workforce Solutions, Behavioral Health, our nonprofit partners that are doing outreach are out there trying to provide resources and connect individuals to services. So I want to commend those staff. And then just following up to Councilman Edwards, who spoke about the outreach workers that we're looking to increase in the city. We hope that recruitment for 14 individuals will be released today. So once that recruitment gets released, we'll share that out with the COC as well. Thank you.
Congratulations, nice job. Jacob, love to hear from you.
Hello, I'm not going to turn my camera on because I'm in the midst of COVID, but I wanted to just give a quick sort of update and ask. So as you know, we're moving forward very rapidly with the domestic violence bonus. We've already have about 6 clients that are about to be housed, and then we have about 12 on our list right now finding housing. One of the big gaps that we're finding is need for furniture, towels, gently used kitchen utensils, things that they can really make this house or this place look like home. Because quite often when they're fleeing from domestic violence, right, you don't take anything with. And so I would love to find a way to kind of create welcome packages, kind of like, when you buy a new house and you get like a welcome basket. I would love to create some sort of welcome packet or welcome basket to have waiting for them when they get there. I can't do everything on my own, so I didn't know if there were any orgs out there that are already doing this or have items or who would like to sort of be our sponsor in this effort. Please, email me. I'll put my email in the chat. But that's the biggest thing they say is like, okay, we're in our place. Yeah, we just actually put a family of 4 yesterday, a parent and their children, and they're like, we don't have anything, like we don't have supplies. So I would love to be able to go over and give them something. So yeah, sorry, rambling. My brain's a little all over the place today, but yeah, if anyone has ideas or knows anyone doing that, please let me know.
Jacob, I'm happy to follow up with you offline. We have in Corona Norco a program called Make It Cozy, and we use our old police department building for a warehouse, and we partner with the faith community and residents and businesses, and we get tons of donations. It's for Corona Norco, but it's something that's easily replicated, and I know that the faith community and the Palm, is it mostly Palm Springs area, or are you looking region wide?
Oh, well, we're region wide, so right now we have Banning, Desert Hot Springs. We have people looking in Riverside itself. We also have a truck, a flatbed truck, that we can pick up things too. So even if it's in a completely end of the state, we'll drive there and fix stuff up. So yeah, I will follow up with you offline.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Jay-
Linda.
Karen,
sorry.
I just.
Yes, I have, Martha's has a thrift store in Indio. So email me, Jacob, and we can put together vouchers because we have just probably about everything you need. And sometimes we can help out when refrigerators are not in the units and they need inspection. So just send me an email and
will.
we'll get it rolling.
Thank you.
Nice job, Linda. Okay, Gina.
Hi, this is Angelina. I'm sorry, real quick. I'm with Shelter from the Storm. If you reach out to me, then we can help you with that as well. We get a lot of donations and we do those packets for our families that are DB victims. So we'd definitely be willing to share the resources and the wealth.
Awesome. Good job, you guys. Love it. Okay, Gina.
Yeah, there's Building Up Lives. Now, they used to have a store in Moreno Valley. They've relocated, and I'm not sure what they have now, but they would get a lot of household utensils, all kinds of things, clothing. So they're still in existence. Again, they just don't have the same storefront that they used to. So that's another possible connection for you, Joshua. Okay. Jacob, excuse me.
Thank you so much, all.
Okay.
That's great. And there's a lot of folks that are commenting in the chat too. So great team effort, everybody. Okay. Let's see. Let me go back to, did we have anybody else? And section of the agenda. If y'all don't mind, I'm going to make a minor change in the agenda to move Greg Rodriguez up, adjust his item under 5.4. He does have another meeting and he always has really super important updates regarding our Policy Advocacy Committee, Housing Resource and Legislative Committee. So Greg, I'd love to turn the floor over to you so that you can make your other meeting.
Oh, thank you, Karen. I didn't need to do this till a little bit later, but that's fine. Actually, Michelle stole most of my thunder on the No Place Like Home Awards. So thanks, Michelle. Great update. Just want to reemphasize that Riverside County is one of the most successful counties in obtaining these grants from the state. So they're a key component of our affordable housing stock. And it's a great partnership between behavioral health and the Housing Workforce Solutions Department. But more importantly, too, I think most of you know is that the governor signed the Care Court Act, which is designed to somewhat compel individuals into behavioral health treatment as well as substance use treatment for those that are experiencing homelessness. Riverside County is in the first cohort, which has some advantages and some disadvantages. And I'll use the term disadvantages. It's more hurdles and road bumps that we anticipate we'll be able to get over relatively easy because of the infrastructure that our county has been developing over the last few years in our homeless and housing situation. But with that said, the county has already convened a working group amongst the various departments that will be affected or will have a role in this. And so we're looking at a real multidisciplinary approach to this, and right now gathering not only data, but also amongst the departments working out what we believe our role will be and how we're going to be able to work in partnership and success. So again, we feel this is a new tool that is going to be helpful not only to us as a county, but to our service providers, more importantly, addressing really some of the most chronic individuals that really need intense assistance especially around the areas of behavioral health. So we will keep you updated as we move through this process, and obviously we'll be looking to many of you as providers to assist as we roll through this, and we're confident that if any county can make this work, it'll be Riverside County. Our biggest challenge, and what we will of course look to you all, is the advocacy for the state to continue to fund resources, especially that we are not put in a position where we have to drain resources from the services that we're already providing, or prioritizing individuals over other individuals that have been on waiting lists for years, or are in some type of delivery or pipeline into service. So again, we're looking forward to rolling this out. We are required to have the system ready, up and running by next October. And so again, we'll be utilizing this next year to make sure that we roll this out successfully. Those are my updates, and Karen, I appreciate moving me up, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Greg, I do have a comment, and I'm not sure if other people also have questions, but Marcus announced this at the last Policy Advocacy Committee, and he was talking about the fact that we are among a group of counties that were selected as pilots. One of the things that I mentioned, I'm hoping we can follow up on, is what opportunity do we have to try to have some kind of a forum to collaborate with those pilot counties, so that we can be in some form of regular communication. And I'm not talking weekly, whatever it is, if it's quarterly or semi-annually, to kind of get those counties together to share their experiences, so they can have one voice to give feedback to the state about what's working and what's not working, because I think that would be so powerful.
Yeah, and just to clarify, we're not really a pilot county. Basically they've split the state up into 2 cohorts, so we're rolling out the program. It's not a pilot, so through CSAC, or the county, or California State Association of Counties, there will be coordination amongst the cohorts. Primarily in Southern California, it's us as Riverside, San Diego, and Orange. LA was originally supposed to be in it, but they have moved to the second cohort. So there will be that communication. The difficulty there too, Karen, is that counties are different in how they operate. So like Riverside is unique to various other counties, because we have, like our own behavioral health operations, public health, medical system, federally qualified health centers, and integrated service within our housing and workforce solutions department. That doesn't say that we can't share best practices. I think the real aspect that communication is being important amongst the counties is the resources, not only the staffing resources for behavioral health staff and court staff, but additionally also the housing dollars, because this is a housing first approach, and how is the state making sure that we're being funded? The state is claiming that they've already allocated money through, the billions of dollars they've done in homelessness stuff, and then recent housing dollars. But again, we want to make sure that those, such as HAP dollars and other funding from the state, that we're not being required to take those dollars away from programming that we've already programmed for those dollars, and transfer that to care court. So there was some commitment from the governor in the budget for care court this year, but we need to make sure that that's, again, additional funding in order to make this successful.
Did you say that was CSAC, through CSAC that would be coordinating?
Yeah.
Okay. Great, thank you so much. Does anybody else have any questions of Greg? Okay, nice job as usual. Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're going to move back up to agenda item 4, and I am super excited about this agenda item. I've mentioned to you all before, one of the things that myself and Michelle, as your chair and vice chair, wanted to do was to spotlight the good work of different partners within the continuum of care, and we try to move these spotlights around to different regions of the county. And so today I'm super excited to introduce a spotlight on the Path of Life in the city of Jurupa Valley. And it's a great partnership between Path of Life and the city, and a great model, hopefully, that we can see replicated, where cities allocate resources and partner with an expert provider to address homelessness and housing in their region. So with that, I'm going to turn it over. I'm not sure if Amy, you're going to be doing introductory comments before Leonard gives the presentation.
Yes, I will open it up. Thank you so much, Karen. We are honored to be selected to highlight what we've been doing with our partner Path of Life on the homelessness front on this crisis. Obviously, we know it's not a one solution, and we are very fortunate to have the expertise of Path of Life with their multifunctional approach. And in a moment, I'll hand it over to their new CEO, Chris Oberg. Most of you may know this, but Hurupa Valley, a little background, was a contracted city. It was 18 months ago when I started here. There was about 18 employees, and now we're well over 70 employees. During those contracted years, the city became an entitlement city, receiving community development block grant money. And during that time, council realized that they really wanted to put funding towards the homelessness crisis. So this started in about 2018 with an RFP that went out, and Path of Life submitted an application, and that began this great partnership with them here, and a history of success. So during these last few years, since 2018, we have allocated over 1.2 as the COVID money that had come forward in the last couple of years. So I am going to now turn it over to Chris Oberg to talk about what they've been doing here at the city of Hurupa Valley.
Hi, Amy. Good morning, and thank you for the partnership. Hello, Continuum of Care Partners. I'm only 4 months at Path of Life. In those 4 months, we've been able to be at 2 of your city council meetings, Amy, in Hurupa Valley, and feel the energy in the city. Mostly what I've witnessed is the passion for city leadership to customize and create solutions for your residents in Hurupa Valley, and we appreciate the opportunity to partner. If you move to the next slide, most of you are familiar with Path of Life, a 25-year-old human service partner here. We're located in the city of Riverside. Rescue, restore, rebuild. That is the mantra that we repeat day after day. In just my 4 months here, I can't tell you which of those aspects takes more energy or is more rewarding. They seem to go hand in hand. And as our longest tenured employee, Victor Beecham, says, when we do these things, almost by accident, we house people. I love that view. I also love the Path of Life promise that they've created long before I joined this team. On the next slide, you can read it with us that here at Path of Life, we make one promise that anyone who comes to us for help to get out of the crisis of homelessness, that if they trust us and work with us, we'll help them get out of this crisis, stably housed, and moving towards self-sufficiency. What I've learned is that it's a long journey and a long process. Some days we have to count small wins, and some days we're waiting for the win. Leonard Jarman, our Chief Solutions Officer, is going to walk us through a little bit more of the detail of what's been happening with Hurupa Valley. You all know Leonard, who's been with this company close to 20 years. So thanks, Leonard, for continuing this.
Yes, thank you. So over the years, what we've learned is that homelessness is a public health and humanitarian crisis. So it's a multifaceted problem, demands multifaceted solutions. And so we offer more than a sandwich, a shower, and somewhere safe to sleep. So we deliver a comprehensive menu of services, implement evidence-based interventions and best practices that help individuals and families in their homeless crisis. Next slide. So some of the things that are working beneath the surface at Path of Life is the evidence-based strategies that we've employed over the years. And so we really employ a person-centered approach to ending homelessness. One of our mottos is we meet people where they are, but we don't leave them there. I mean, all of our shelters are low barrier for the last really 9 years. Our outreach team employs progressive engagement for housing programs, which started back in 2015. Of course, embrace housing first, not housing only, but housing first. And so we've had people who really, they have been housed since 2015. And it's about a 95% retention rate of the people that we originally placed back in 2015 are still in permanent supportive housing. So we know that's an intervention that is effective. Some of the things more recently we employ is like the housing problem solving. I tell this story about a guy who came to our shelter a couple of years ago. He and his wife got in a fight, and I guess she said, get out. And so he heard about the shelter. He came to the shelter, knocked on the door. We brought him in, talked to him. And instead of saying, yeah, come on in, get in bed, we said, well, can we talk to your wife and see what's going on? You know, diversion, right? And so case manager called, talked to his wife, kind of patched it up. And instead of coming to the shelter with some of our encouragement and support, he was able to go back home. Sometimes we see people who get kicked out or asked to leave because they weren't able to contribute to the food bill or the rent. And if sometimes we're able to have flexible funds, we can help them get back in that housing without, you know, a major intervention. So that's some of the creative problem solving that goes on with our outreach team, even at the shelter doors. Next slide. So these are some of the current services and projects that we are operating in Hooper Valley. We've actually, Amy, that first contract was 2017. So this is our 5th year on the ground in Hooper Valley. So some of the things we do now is street outreach Monday through Friday. Of course, our community shelter, they reserve 4 beds per night there. If they need a family shelter bed, that's per availability, and that's over and beyond our agreement. And then we also master lease this is our 3rd year, 2 crisis stabilization units in Hooper Valley that we use for emergency housing. We don't call it sheltering, but crisis stabilization housing. We're able to use those for folks who just need immediate to get off the street. And then lastly, the rental assistance program that we've operated for 2 years. Next slide. So here's the impact. This is just for Hooper Valley over the last year. So if you look at each column at our community shelter, we house 24 individuals. We contract for right at 1,000 bed nights. And if you notice, we exceeded that by 500 bed nights. And then also we accommodated 3 households, 12 individuals at our family shelter, just as a partnership with them. The placement rate at the community shelter, we all know it's very difficult to place individuals with very limited resources. Right at 13% of the people that came, we were able to get in some type of housing. Family shelter, because of vouchers, whether Section 8 or some of the other vouchers, subsidized, we're able, for the Hooper Valley residents, we're able to have a 67% housing placement. Keep in mind, it's 3 households, so 2 out of the 3 went to housing. Now, the crisis stabilization housing, a little more flexible housing. It's not really a shelter. People can stay 90, 120 days, and we have a much higher placement rate there too, because the folks who go there are really almost housing ready. They get their docs, they get their ID, they have income, and so we're able to move them along a lot faster, and I think more effective than even like at the community shelter. The last piece, or second to last piece, was with rental assistance and special needs, that flexible funds we talked about, we're able to help. You see the numbers there, 97 households, 171 individuals. And then for special needs, which are things like work boots or things that keep them moving along, getting out of homelessness, we helped over 41 people. And again, our street outreach team, they're like our Navy SEALs. They're out there on the ground, boots on the ground. They're in the river bottom, they're in the streets of Hooper Valley, all the nooks and crannies. They made over 963 contacts, 86 engagements. If you look at the ratio, they'll look at 86 engagement, 46 of those people exited to the streets, to our shelters or CSH, which is phenomenal. It's half of the people who agreed to services from Hooper Valley agreed to go to our shelter or CSH unit. So we're really grateful for the outcomes that we are tracking in Hooper Valley. Next slide. So here's a picture of our outreach team. Actually, we have outreach teams in Banning and Beaumont, City of Riverside, and Hooper Valley, and just a couple snapshots of some of the things that we encounter in Hooper Valley. And for those of you doing outreach, you know that's kind of part of the course. It can range from small encampments to very large encampments with over 100, 200 people in it. And so our team works closely with Codes Department, Riverside County Sheriffs, and other agencies in Hooper Valley, and behavioral health, our other partners actively working in the river bottom and on the outskirts too, in different parts of the city. Next slide. I want to give you a little peek at our crisis stabilization housing. Joanna Monera, our housing manager for CSH, has done a great job. I mean, I would live there. Look at that. We have donations that came from all over to get that ready. And this is where we invite our guests to come live. one of our mottos at the shelter and any housing we operate is, we wouldn't live there, we're not going to ask you to. And so part of that master lease, we maintain it. We get great furniture, great supplies. We provide all the linen, food subsidies if they need it. And so the crisis stabilization housing has been a great fit for us in Hoover Valley. And we're looking at ways to even expand that if possible, because it's a really, it's a low, and it doesn't, create a lot of attention because you don't have a bunch of people in one spot. So if we can continue to replicate this all over the county, I think it's a great fit and alternative to the congregate shelters. I think that's it. Do you have any questions about, oh, well, success story, sorry. So yeah, there was a couple, and we have a lot of success stories, but I wanted to highlight this one because this impacts somebody who had been homeless for quite a long time. So there's a couple who had been homeless 14 years. And about 3.5 months later, this chronically homeless couple moved into their own home. And some of the things that we had to deal with, which kind of are common to outreach, is there was some physical health, some mental health barriers. They didn't have any income other than just small Social Security disability income. Her partner had no income, no Social Security card, no ID. So the first thing our outreach team did was get his ID. While waiting for his Social Security card, he was offered a job. And as soon as we could get him with this card, took him to the employer to show him the ID and the Social Security card, he was hired, and they're able to live in their own for the first time in over 14 years. That's a major accomplishment because there's so many challenges when you've been homeless that long, to move into renting, to move into dealing with a landlord and maintaining that. So our outreach team continues to support them in their permanent housing. So I think our time is up, but that's a great overview. We appreciate our partnership with Hoover Valley and the COC for all that's happening in Hoover Valley. Any questions or comments?
Well, Leonard, before we turn it over to see if anybody has questions or comments, I first just want to commend and congratulate you, Leonard, and Chris and Amy on this amazing partnership. And just in looking at our county homeless action plan, one of the big goals is to build capacity in other cities. And I think this is really a beautiful picture where cities start where their financial resources will allow them. And then when they partner with an organization like Path of Life that has the capacity, that knows how to run a complete system, because you guys do it all. Not only did you leverage their resources, because if I understood your presentation, they got a bigger bang for the buck more than what they invested because of your infrastructure. But you used a master lease model, which is something that Tanya and I have been talking about a lot, when we got to go out and tour Jewish Family Services and see the beautiful work that they're doing. Your model, for the Continuum of Care members that don't know, master leasing is a super awesome way to open up doors to affordable housing, because when you negotiate with a landlord to take the risk of away from them for damages, for dealing with tenant screening, all of that, they just basically are guaranteed rent. And you're not going through the whole hassle of trying to do siting for bricks and sticks affordable housing development, which clearly is important, but this is a beautiful way to get more doors to affordable housing. So congratulations to you guys. And if you notice, you guys started small and it's working well. 2 crisis stabilization units. So I think, this is something everybody can learn from, and an easy way to kind of quickly open up doors. And I don't want to oversimplify it because I know there's a lot of hard work that you guys do, but it's just awesome. So congratulations. Are there other members of the Continuum of Care that have questions about any of the components of this city nonprofit partnership? Kimberly, let's hear it. Kimberly, you're muted.
Well, sorry, Leonard, you missed all my compliments.
Hey, well, I'll take
So I'll start over. I just wanted to say that thank you very much. That was a really clear presentation, Leonard, and it's a really great opportunity for Amy and Leonard to explain that to all of us. And I would love to have that PowerPoint presentation, Leonard, if you can. I love the way you explained your services, and Amy explained how you guys collaborated. So thank you very much. And if I can get that PowerPoint, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I believe it's in the on the Google Drive.
Yeah,
for
it
this
is.
meeting. So yeah, it's in there if you want it.
Thank you.
Great comments, Kimberly. Thank you so much. Anybody else like to make a comment or ask a question? Well, thank you guys so much for being willing to highlight this beautiful public-private partnership, and kudos to the great work that you've done to help so many people move out of crisis. So with that, we will move on to the next section of the agenda, and that is agenda item 4.2, Board of Governance eligible seats for private and public. And Josh, I think you're going to give us an overview of these opportunities.
Thank you so much, Karen. So we currently have 2 Board of Governance seats available. Actually, I have a slide. Look at that. So we have 2 seats available. We have a private seat that we have designated for a faith-based organization. As you all may know, we like to keep a very diverse and comprehensive representation on our Board of Governance so that all disciplines that really affect and contribute to solving homelessness in Riverside County are represented, and we can make a really multi-focused effort. And so with the private organization seat, we're looking for a faith-based organization to fill that. The term of this seat would be effective basically after an election that we would hold, so effective immediately. And the terms are 3 years. So that term would be ending June 30th, 2025. We also have a public seat open for government representation. This was previously Sabby Jonathan's seat. He was with the city of Palm Desert, and I believe he was the acting mayor of city of Palm Desert. He resigned very recently, within the past 2 weeks, I want to say. So his last Board of Governance meeting was earlier this month. So we're looking for somebody to fill the rest of his term, which ends June 30th, 2023. So it's about 1 year, maybe a little bit less. So what does this look like as far as next steps? We, as COC staff, will be sending out an email announcing these openings and requesting nominations. We do typically set a deadline for nominations, though ultimately we are flexible depending if we have enough nominations, but we're shooting for mid-October, so 2 to 3 weeks. But again, all COC members here, please just look for that email that will be coming from likely myself. Any questions about the Board of Governance seats? Kimberly, is that your hand up? It's my last topic. Okay. All right. Hearing no questions, just look out for that email. And if you have any questions, please, of course, email us at coc@rivco.org.
Okay, we'll move on to the next agenda item. We're now under agenda item 5, standing agenda items, and I'll start with the Board of Governance update. Not sure how many of you have the opportunity to attend the Board of Governance meeting, but if you didn't get a chance to attend it, the agenda and meeting materials that are posted will give you lots of great details about all of the great services that are going to be provided through the regular Continuum of Care NOFO. Just to recap, there's what the Board of Governance talked about in terms of approval is the $13.3 million available for the annual renewal demand, which includes 667 some odd thousand for the Continuum of Care bonus funding and $1 million in the domestic violence bonus funding. So the discussion that the Board of Governance had was considering the funding recommendations for 20 applications, which were 18 existing and renewal applications, 1 new Continuum of Care bonus and 1 new domestic violence bonus project. The majority of the projects were permanent supportive housing and rapid rehousing, but there was also coordinated entry, HMIS, and a planning grant for the county. And if you look at the summary that the staff provided, HUD approves this request. That all of the applications will support a total of 553 housing units and 803 beds. And so what I would like to do just at this time is give a special shout out. I did this at the Board of Governance meeting, and I'd like to do it again because we don't want to overlook the monumental work of this team that has made this happen. So first of all, to our Housing and Workforce Services staff, I'd like to acknowledge Jamie Gibson, Brandon Chahan, Jesus Cedillo, Joshua Tomasiowski, and Tanya Torno. Also, of course, Joe Coletti and his staff at Urban Initiatives. And then also all of the sub-recipients that have been working on their applications, as I understand it from Tanya and the staff. They've been working night and day. And it's truly a collaborative effort to make this happen, and HUD does not give us much time to do this. So just incredible amount of work. And I also would like to acknowledge IEHP, and I believe we're also in discussions with Melina for matching funds for the bonus project, which I know staff will probably talk about in more detail, but it's a huge celebration to see this partnership with our Medi-Cal managed care providers. I just want to say thank you to them as they've been working with us on the HIP Incentive Fund opportunities, which we'll talk more about at future Continuum of Care meetings. So congratulations to all of you for the amazing hard work that has been put forth for making sure that we can keep these resources in our region. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, then I'm going to turn the floor over to Emma, who is going to give an update on the Continuum of Care and HMIS lead agency update. Emma?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Josh, can you please advance the slide? Go to the next one. You can go ahead and go to the next one. So as Karen mentioned, our 2022 HUD COC RFP has closed. Just wanted to give a quick update. We are getting ready to submit our consolidated application to HUD, which is due by the 30th. Our plan is to have it in to eSNAPs by tomorrow, just to give ourselves some buffers, because for those of you that have experience working in eSNAPs, you know how finicky it can be. So we want to make sure that we give ourselves a little bit of time to work through any technical issues that might arise in the course of submission. So we had one DB bonus project that will be included in the consolidated application and one COC bonus, in addition to 18 renewal projects. Next slide, please. And an update on the supplemental unsheltered homelessness NOFO and RFP. The RFP closed on the 19th of September, and we have been diligently working behind the scenes to prep our independent review panel. We did have our kickoff for that, and our panel is currently reviewing the projects that were received. We received 9 projects in total, several for street outreach, some for, if you see me looking to the side, I'm looking at my other screen, some for street outreach, some for rapid rehousing, a couple for permanent supportive housing. We also have our planning grant and our CES grant that will be evaluated as part of the evaluation process. We are planning on scheduling a Board of Governance special meeting on the 5th to go over the IRP's recommendations and get approval for our consolidated application. We will be posting those recommendations to our COC website subsequent to the Board of Governance meeting. And our consolidated application is due to HUD on the 20th. However, as with other applications, our goal is to have it into the system a few days prior to account for any technical issues that might arise in the course of submission. So there is a total of $14,149,460 that has been made available to Riverside County, 3% of which is set aside for the planning grant. Next slide, please. And I just wanted to highlight our September 2022 staff report, which is drafted by Josh here on our team, as well as Mariel Sarmiento, who does our graphic design work for the report. If you have not had a chance to view it, it is located on our COC website, and it contains myriad of information. It also contains a lot of data points, just demonstrating our efforts here at the COC. So I encourage you to take a look at it and share it with your staff. I wanted to just highlight a success story that was included in this edition, which is from our very own Path of Life Ministries. You can read about Miss H's success story there and how Path of Life Ministries supported her into permanent housing. And we're just so proud of the work that they're doing there, along with all of our other agencies, partner agencies within the COC. Next slide, please. And your COC at work in the community, wanted to highlight some of the community outreach events that we've been doing. Our team has been very busy attending events in representation of the COC, starting with our resource fairs at the Santa Ana River bottom. There is one that is happening as we speak. But we've been out there a couple of times now since our last meeting. We have had a resource fair on September 1st as well as September 14th. And Lucretia Smith and Rashana Walker, who are on our team, have been leading the efforts for these fairs and coordinating with several homeless providers in our community to come and bring services to the homeless residents that are within the rivers, the Santa Ana River bottom. At our last two fairs, we've served over 42 homeless residents. And as I mentioned, we are currently having a fair today, and we can provide updates on those that we served at our next meeting. We also attended an event for the Moreno Valley Unified School District. They had a family fair. We provided a lot of information to families within the Moreno Valley Unified School District. We also provided several flyers from our COC partner agencies, just to spread the word of the services that we have available. In the same manner, we attended a fair with the Hemet Unified School District, reached out to a lot of families, were able to provide families with getting connected to medical services, housing, social services, food pantries, clothes closets, and also haircuts. We also participated in an RCOE resource fair, and also in a library event with the homeless resource committees. We participated in their open house on the 20th out in the city of Paris. Next slide, please. And that wraps up our COC update. Thank you very much. I've included the contact information for Tanya Torno, our fearless leader and COC deputy director, and also for myself. Please feel free to contact us. We are always available to chat with you if you have ideas or if there's something that you feel that we can improve upon. We are always here and willing to listen to everyone. So please feel free to contact us or just come by and visit with us if you haven't come into our office yet. We'd love to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. This is Tanya here, and Karen, if you are able to, I'd just like to ask for maybe like 5 to 7 minutes just to share a preview of our homeless services dashboard that we've been working on. Is that okay with you, Karen?
Oh my gosh, yes, would love to. Everyone would love to see it.
Thank you so much. And Emma, thank you for that great presentation. And, you know, the one thing I really want to emphasize is that we do our work in partnership with you. I remember during COVID, our famous line, which remains very real today, is that we're in this together. And I wanted to use this time, the next couple of minutes, to share with you a preview of an interactive dashboard that has been created by one of the research specialists on our homeless management information system, or HMIS team. Historically, members from our HMIS team have really specialized in knowing the database that we use to track client level data from all of the different homeless assistance projects that receive funding through the Continuum of Care. Again, it's a shared database that is utilized by case managers, outreach members, shelter care staff, that allows them to directly enroll clients into their programs and allows us as a Continuum of Care body to measure progress across a specific project, but also as a system of care, which is, you know, why all of us are here today. And there's been a lot of, I'm going to use the word advocacy from your existing chairs and also your former chair. I remember really Greg Rodriguez sort of throwing out this idea of creating an interactive dashboard that we would use as a body, as a membership body, to measure our progress in meeting our goals. And last year, actually earlier this year, in March, you and the Continuum of Care Board of Governance adopted a homeless action plan that set really aggressive goals in doing things like decreasing homelessness, but also increasing the rate in which we take someone that's on the streets into housing. And of course, there, you know, are other goals that are outlined in that plan. And so as we work with you to not only measure project-specific performance, but also now system-wide performance, we have developed this dashboard, which we are working now on making public to each of you. So currently it's, you know, being sort of tested with our county IT team and our internal team members, and we're very, very close to going live. And I feel confident enough to give you a preview on your screen so that when you get this, it'll be very easy for you to know how to navigate. One of the things I wanted to highlight in looking at the data of this report is that we often spend a lot of time talking about our homeless point in time count numbers. Our results for the 2022 point in time count were released earlier this year in June. Laura Gonzalez, our PIT count coordinator, came in and did a presentation. And if you recall, countywide, we identified 3,300 individuals, both unsheltered and sheltered, during the count. Many of you have expressed, I know we internally have also expressed that, and I think most communities across the country, across the state, have all shared that their point in time count number, while it definitely is a good indicator of trends, you know, we can see if homelessness has gone up and down. We can look at specific subpopulations to look at vulnerability. It really, you know, doesn't provide an actual number on the number of people that are truly experiencing homelessness in a region. And what I think provides us with a better snapshot of this is our homeless management information system. And so the figures that you see on your screen are taken from last fiscal year. So from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. And throughout that time period, each of your agencies, or a lot of your agencies that are on the line that have spoken throughout this meeting, that participate with us on a regular basis, and have assisted people through street outreach, emergency shelter, rapid rehousing, and permanent supportive housing, together have assisted 13,727 individuals, right? So when we consider, like, what is the real need in Riverside County, how much money do we need, the 13,000 is, again, a more accurate assessment.
like you, I'm sure there's a lot of reasons if you talk to providers who could say there's definitely a lot more when you think about how many people, your projects have had to turn away because your shelter is at capacity, or because, you're utilizing all of the vouchers that you have attached to your program. But 3,000 from Pitt to 13,000 is certainly a big leap. Again, I'm just going to kind of go briefly through the screens. Once you have access to this, again, you'll be able to see how many people were assisted across our entire continuum of services: street outreach, emergency shelter, rapid rehousing versus permanent supportive housing. If you select on each of these icons, it'll kind of break down by activity type how many people were assisted under each. You'll see under street outreach that 4,700 individuals are engaging with the street outreach teams that we fund using Continuum of Care funding, but also from agencies who may not get COC funding, but use private and other sources of funding they receive to administer those services. If you look at emergency shelter, you'll see, again, over the last year, Path of Life, Martha's Village, all of our different emergency shelter providers together have served 4,300 individuals. And so we want you to test this out as soon as you get the link. Let us know what you think. The dashboard will continue to evolve so that we can make sure that it aligns with our homeless action plan, and that on a regular basis, any of us will be able to tell if we're making progress in meeting the goals that we set out in our 5-year action plan. And also, you should know that we are working on scheduling a strategic plan retreat where we can get together and revisit the goals that are in the homeless action plan, look at the dashboard to make sure that, again, we're on track, and that we have good measures in place to measure our progress. So again, that's my preview. You will be getting a link to this soon. This isn't meant to be an interactive process, so we hope to get as much feedback from you to hear what works, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and we'll make modifications as needed. Thank you so much for this time.
Bravo, that was phenomenal. So proud of you guys for doing this. It's incredible. And I think the one slide, Tanya, that highlighted first-time enrollments, I don't know if we can bring that back up. Isn't it the overall slide on the dashboard?
I will bring it back up.
Is as a huge indicator of what's going on in our economy, because as I understand that, is it the overall? Yeah, so I don't know if that's like 47%. I'm not good at math, but that's a high percentage of people that are, as I understand it, are first-time homeless. Is that right? And hitting the system for the first time. So if you look at the total individuals assisted versus first-time enrollments, it shows you what's going on, people that have not experienced crisis and homelessness before. So
Karen, I just wanted to compliment, say, excellent point. When I did the math, that's actually a 64% rate. And the question we often get asked, and I know you guys often get asked, is like, what was the impact of COVID, or what has been the impact of the high rental cost in the market? And that really speaks to it. We've increased the number of people that have experienced first-time homelessness to 64%. And we can look at, showing trends across different years. That might be a request that you make to us. But know that this is intended to be a tool that you utilize to, of course, help you write grants, help bring more resources that are needed to address homelessness, and then also as a continuum, right, put together competitive applications like the one Emma highlighted that we're working with you on to bring some of those federal resources to the county.
Well, this is great, and I hope we have the ability to feed this up to HUD to be able to show the system performance and the outcomes. This is phenomenal. Gina, you had a question or a comment?
Actually, kind of more of a comment in that I don't think we have seen the ending of the rise. I think it's going to be even worse coming up still because we're now feeling the effects of the higher pricing in the housing, and we have not been able to keep up on building enough affordable housing that we need. So my prediction kind of is there's going to be at least 1 to 2 more years of rise, and then let's cross our fingers we do enough that we can start seeing a downslope.
Well said. Any other comments? Well, I hope you will all, when staff sends this out, take the time to look at it and give feedback to make sure that there's nothing missing, or because remember that data drives policy, right? And policy drives funding. So I think it's critical for all of us to partner with the county staff to help this be as successful as possible, because you can really develop some great key messages when you drill it down for your particular organization, but also for the region. So it's powerful in a lot of different ways for grant writing, but also even just communicating messages to city councils or other foundations. I mean, there's just a whole lot of opportunities that we can use, not just for tracking system performance, but also indicating what the need is and getting more partners to the table. So congratulations, Tanya. You guys did a fabulous job. Okay, we're going to move to the next agenda item, Agenda 5.3, Coordinated Entry System Lead Update. And we have Chance, who's going to give us the update today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for that intro. I'm filling in for Morel Capizon for this meeting. Next slide.
This is the only slide I have. I can pull up the CS report for last month if you'd like me to.
Yeah, the CES report. Thank you.
And just a reminder for everybody, this is a report that we put in the Google Drive folder monthly. So everyone should be able to access this. And then also we put it in our COC staff report as well, if you want to see the full document.
Okay, so starting at the top left, that's the calls received to the 800 number at Home Connect. So remaining fairly consistent at 1,474 and then 1,392 these last few months. And then the VI SPDATs. So we see still mostly consistent with around 391 total. Home connections here, permanent supportive housing, so level 8 and above VI SPDATs, rapid rehousing 47 VI SPDAT score. So we have 1,100 of the permanent supportive housing and then 653 of rapid rehousing for a total of 1,800. And then families with children, so that's also remained about the same for rapid rehousing and permanent supportive housing, with 76 to permanent supportive, 61 in rapid rehousing. Those are the ones waiting for home connections. And then ones looking for the housing search is 36 and 35, so also remaining consistent on families experiencing homelessness searching for housing. And then to the bottom left, outstanding home connections, that's permanent supportive housing, 180, 138 for rapid rehousing, 0 for transitional housing, 0 for bridge housing, 89 for emergency grants, and then 0 for Section 8. And then on the right is the breakdown of the cities. And that'd be all. And then also, kind of touching on what was talked about earlier, the HOPE program is working on Same out goes housing project here in Riverside. And that is partnership with No Place Like Home, which is 24 units, permanent supportive housing for homeless clients experiencing severe mental illness or SMI designations. And we have, the HOPE program has also partnered with CityNet and the city of Corona for Vista Dorado, which will be 52 units, 30 of those permanent supportive housing units. And that'll be going on for the next few months and should be ready by February. And I think that would be all if there's any questions or comments.
Anybody? Okay. Nice job, Chance. I love your background, by the way. It's
Oh,
really
thank
cool.
you.
Hi. I just wanted to ask if we could get a copy of the infographic that you showed a minute ago. I think it's a good learning tool for our staff. So if that's something that is shareable, I welcome it. Thank you.
It should be in the Google Docs, isn't that right, Josh?
Yeah, and I put that link in the chat too.
Cool.
Oh, I think she was referring to the dashboard.
Oh, the DAF.
Yeah,
DAF?
it's
Okay.
it's in draft form.
Yeah, that will be coming. It'll cut. You guys will be sending out the link, as I understand it, right? And then eventually, or is it going to be parked on the website, the Continuum of Care website? When it's done, yes. Tanya's shaking her head, yes.
Yes, it is. And we're also getting ready to launch a new website. So once that's up, we'll direct you to our cool new page.
Sweet. Okay. Okay, so Greg already gave his update. So moving on, you will see under agenda item 6, there of the 3 committees that are listed, the Policy Advocacy Committee did have a meeting on September the 1st. You can see the report in the Google Docs drive. We also we're so excited, Michelle and I, and working with the county staff to sign 3 letters of support for the Housing Authority for stability vouchers and IEHP for the HIP program, and also for Molina Healthcare for the HIP program. You will find copies of those in, they'll have their own separate little folder inside of the Google Docs called Letters of Support. And then also there's an annual performance report for Jewish Family Services for the PSH project. You will see that in there as well. Moving on now, I'm going to open up the floor. It's agenda item 8. Does anybody have any special announcements? Any new exciting grants that you got, or program accomplishments, or a client success story, or something that you want to share? We'll start with Norma.
I know that Norma is trying to unmute herself. Josh, can you remind me if someone's calling from a phone, do they press *2 to unmute themselves?
I thought it was 6, but
*6.
don't quote me.
Norma, if you could try either *2 or *6 to unmute yourself. And I apologize, we're gonna get some instructions out for our next meeting.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
We can hear you now. The 6 was the key. Welcome.
Yes, thank you guys so much. I apologize. I did not know how to unmute myself. So I'm calling in with Operation Safe House. My name is Norma Beagle, and I wanted to discuss National Runaway Prevention Month is in November, and Operation Safe House is joining with the nationwide campaign. So we're looking for agencies, buildings, monuments within Riverside County that will do go green for National Runaway Prevention Month. Specifically on November 17th, we have the City Hall, I think, is going green, the M in Moreno Valley so far. So if there's any buildings that you guys have that can go green, I will give you the contact person afterwards. But Operation Safe House is also going to be reaching out, and thank you, Tanya. She shared our flyer. Operation Safe House will be reaching out to different agencies and community venues in the month of November to raise awareness for runaway and homeless. So if there's anyone that would like to partner with us, if you would like any of our promotional items to give out, if you're willing to wear green at your company, have a spirit week, if not on November 17th, any day during that month, we would appreciate it, and just want to, call attention to the runaways that are out there and how to prevent that. So if you are interested, Tanya, is it on the sheet there? Does Julie have her information?
A copy of the letter that Julie sent over on screen, and then we'll also make sure to send it out by way of email to all of our COC partners.
Yeah, and if you
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Tanya, did we talk about we're going to try to also maybe have it on agenda for next month as well, just because it's right before the kickoff in November?
Yeah, you know what, Karen, I hadn't yet shared that with Norma, but Norma,
okay.
consider this an official invitation. We'd love to have Operation Safe House speak on this issue, and we were thinking of partnering with you, having our CES lead and HMIS lead pull some data to talk about the number of youth that are assisted, so we can have a whole program dedicated to youth homelessness and runaway youth.
That would be amazing. And if you guys do decide to partner, we ask that you tag our social media, which again, you can contact Julie Hale with Operation Safe House, and she will let you know how to do that. But kind of a fun way to just draw attention to a not so fun subject. It's kind of, hard to say we want to, promote this because it is such a hard subject. You don't want to, you don't want to be happy about it, but we also want to get the word out and let them know that there is help available, and hopefully that help comes before their youth go on the street. So thank you so much for letting me speak.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to have you. Elizabeth.
Hi, good morning. Elizabeth Bartholomew, Director. I oversee homelessness and foster youth for Riverside County Office of Education. So Josh has our Save the Date flyer. December 3rd, we are celebrating Winter Wonderland for foster homeless and those at risk of homelessness. The schools have been told if they're just behind in a bill or two, just to welcome them. So we will have real snow, kids will get to sled, ice skate, carnival booths, plenty of food everywhere, crafts, and so non-denominational, even though it's at Harvest, we're just using their facility. So we're excited to save the date. And then we are in the process of opening our Family Resource Center. So deliveries begin this week. We will have everything needed for a family to start up housing. So if they lost it in a fire, they're homeless and just now getting into housing. So we will have brand new furniture, household items, pet care, baby care, everything needed. So probably about next 2 weeks. So I'll send Josh the email when we're ready, but just wanted to let people know. So we already have mental health services available here. We have full dental services, and then we'll be in the process of bringing in legal and medical. But as far as supplies, everything's brand new in the box. Furniture is amazing, beautiful, mattresses, everything needed. So we're at the facility on County Farm Road, right next to Juvenile Court. So we're excited about that.
Well, Beth, congratulations. That is so great to see the County Office of Education taking the lead to do this. Incredible work. Are you guys, is it a collaborative with all of the school districts, or you guys are taking the lead for the whole region, or?
For the Family Resource Center?
Yeah.
No, so I have grant funding. We're getting an incredible discount. So we get about $1 million worth of goods that I pay about $5,000 a month for. So I found an agency to make the donations. So it'll be available to all of our school districts. We'll be able to send items out, but basically because of where we're located, we're pretty centrally located to a lot of our districts, but it'll be open to the community.
That's awesome. At some point in the future, we need to get the County Department of Ed and the school districts on for some updates about the great stuff that you guys are doing. So thank you, Beth. It's really exciting. Okay, Angelina.
Sorry, I'm having all kinds of computer issues today. I am not as prepared as everybody else with the wonderful flyers that I've sent out to you, but I did want to share that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and as normal, Shelter from the Storm is doing Wear Purple Thursdays. So we're asking everyone to join us in wearing purple for awareness, for prevention and intervention, and to honor those that we've lost and those that are surviving domestic violence, and starting that conversation. Once I have those flyers and information, I will send them out and share them. But we are doing it every Thursday in October. And if you would like, then we'll include our link to our social media to show your participation so that we can start the conversation by letting everybody turn purple. And we will also be doing a bike across the valley in October. We are pending to solidify that date, in which we will be raising funds and awareness for Shelter from the Storm and the National Domestic Violence Awareness Month cause. So I just wanted to share that, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so.
Great job, Angelina. Thank you for the good work. Monique.
Hello, everyone. Josh, if you could thank you, Josh. So hi, everyone. My name is Monique Guerra. I'm our homeless youth coordinator with our COC. If you guys haven't met me already, please set up a meeting with me. I'd love to partner with you and help our foster youth as well as our homeless youth population. And so I'm glad that we're starting to think about our homeless youth population and how we can serve them. One initiative that's going on right now through Jacqueline Muller over at Housing Authority is leasing up our foster youth initiative. And so this is just really getting youth connected to a housing voucher, getting them connected to a unit, and then being able to be that support system for them as a county, in getting them what they need to pass their inspection and then getting them, into their units. And so, Josh, if you go to the next, So this is the kind of the process that youth are going through. Our goal is to lease up 100 youth. And so where we need our partners and your support is in one, identifying appliances. If you have donated appliances or if you want to donate an appliance, youth need these to pass inspections. Lately, we've been trying to find ways, and innovative ideas. And so one of them is mini fridges and microwaves to pass some of these inspections, but we know that that's not sustainable for our youth, especially if they have children. And so if you have these appliances, we're also looking for warehouse space. So if you want to partner with Jacqueline to let us borrow some of that warehouse space to store some of these donated items as youth need them, please reach out. You can reach out to her or myself. And then as soon as they pass inspection, we need assistance if you have a truck or if you want to volunteer to help a youth move in and out, right? A lot of our foster youth are coming with very minimal support and support systems. And so that's where we play a crucial role in being that support system for them. And as you guys know from myself and my experience, you all are my support system. And so the same way that I lean on my department, I lean on all of my coworkers and all of our agencies. You guys are my family. And so we want to be that family unit for them. And the same way when you move and you call people to help you, that's what we want to do for our youth. So if you can help in any of these capacities, please email Jacqueline or reach out to myself. Another amazing reminder is that tomorrow we have our Youth Advisory Committee meeting. We did send out that calendar invite, and I will send out an email reminder today, just with the link, our agenda, and our supplemental documents. And so if you don't already attend our Youth Advisory Committee meetings, they're for all youth providers or anyone who provides services to youth and young people, 18 to 24. And so if you want to join that meeting and you haven't already, email me or our coc@rivco.org, and I'd be more than happy to send you over that link and that information. So tomorrow, 10 to 12, please join us for that YAB meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Nice job. Okay, Jacob.
Sorry, you're all going to be sick of me by the end of today. So real fast, I thought I would speak this meeting instead of next. So Pride's coming up in November in Palm Springs. And for the first time, Palm Springs Pride is donating us a space to have like a trans sort of VIP area. But I would really love to have resources. And so in addition to like having some fun stuff and some places to sit and chat, we all know that the community is really high target for homeless and housing unstable. So if anyone would love to donate, or not even donate, just get flyers or come by and chat, I'm opening the space up to like, I don't know how many spaces we'll have to table, but you could definitely come and hang out because I know it's a little expensive sometimes to like have a booth at Pride, and I'm offering the space for individuals who want to come and give support. And then like if you have swag, you know, we can hand it out, and yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Nice job. Thank you so much. I skipped over the call for agenda items. But I wanted to share an experience with
Greg's.
Pardon? Kimberly? Did you want to say something?
Yes, sorry, there's, Indio's having a national night out, and a lot of the police departments and different cities are having these events. I did this last year. I was sort of just dropped off and I had a booth and some flyers. And I was really sad that I didn't have all the kids from the mission, all the program of participants. Every single, the coolest police department stuff was out there. They had tanks, they had SWAT teams, they had it was just the cool thing. I couldn't go crawl around on it. So this is going to be on Tuesday, October 4th. If you're in Indio, it's from 6 to 10 or 6 to 8:30 downtown Indio. And they have food and you get to talk to the police officers. I think it's a wonderful idea for people to see our law enforcement in a different light. I mean, these guys are excited. They're in their uniforms. The cadets are there. The fire departments are there. And like I said, fun time for kids and kids like me to go crawling around with some cool equipment. So again, October 4th at 6 to 8:30 in downtown Indio.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because most of the police department, so the law enforcement agencies also will have, like for us in Corona Norco, our CityNet teams that do street outreach in collaboration with our HOPE teams and our SET teams. They talk about the outreach and engagement to our homeless neighbors. So Kimberly's right. They're really great community collaboration events. So I'm glad that she brought that up. Josh?
Yeah, I just wanted to second Kimberly's comments too. Personally, I had a very, very positive experience working with the Indio Police Department during the homeless point in time count. Really excellent folks over there. And Kimberly, I will see you there on Tuesday, October 4th.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
I will be there.
Cool. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you. Of course.
Gina?
Yeah, I saw it flash up about something for next time. I just realized, like listening to Jacob and just now we know about the Yak and Yab needing, both organizations need furniture and supplies and household goods. Is it feasible to have a COC central warehouse?
You know, I mean, it's certainly something that could be discussed. I think we need to find a lead agency to do it and then figure out how you would make it work. I know at a small level, you know, just our experience, we found we had old city building that wasn't being used, and then collaborating with the community. So sometimes it's a matter of the space and then figuring out who will be the lead agency for us. We asked CityNet if they'd be the lead agency, and then we have a volunteer that came under the umbrella of CityNet to act as the volunteer. And then a lot of us actually go out into the community and make presentations to partners. So it's certainly something that could be discussed. It's just a matter of logistics and who could do it. Josh, were you wanting to comment on that?
Yeah, it's funny. I saw Monique light up and I think I lit up the same. Gina, I mean, that would be so incredibly helpful because as you all may know, if you see our emails and announcements go out, we here at the COC would have a huge use for that, whether it's storing supplies for our yearly homeless point in time count, or maybe random but frequent distribution of hand sanitizers and masks, PPE, and other supplies. And then also, as Monique was saying, and I think the reason that this topic came up is furniture, when we assist, as we bridge that gap between agencies and community members who provide valuable resources for our homeless service providers and those that we serve. And so, although I don't know how feasible it is for us to have our own warehouse, even though we all might be dreaming it, we have partnered with other county agencies in the past and service providers. And please, everybody on this call, if you ever have that space for us or can partner in that way, we would love to hear it and work with you in that way.
Yeah, and if not, if it's not possible for like one big massive warehouse would be sub-regional partnerships. Sub-regional partnerships so that we could cover the whole county would be another opportunity. So it's maybe something we just want to have. Maybe what we could do, Gina, is start the discussion in our policy advocacy committee, do some work, and then bring it up to the continuum of care. What do you think? Okay, good. Beth, did you have something else you wanted to comment on? Elizabeth? Sure, she left. Well,
yeah, so we have a contract with an agency called Care Portal that links churches that have items to meet needs or that want to meet the needs of homeless and foster youth with families in need. And so we do have a warehouse or a storage facility with furniture in it, but on a case-by-case basis, what we do is we put the need on the portal, and then we just meet the needs individually based on what the need is. So it's open to all of Riverside County. We just have it goes through the school district, it goes through my office, it goes through DPSS. So there's a variety of ways to get these needs met. If we just need a little blurb about the family and what the need is, and then we can put it on the portal and get the needs met rather than necessarily storing them. But if we come across furniture that they just want to get rid of, we do store it just to have it. So that might be a solution to the furniture issue.
That's great. I think what we want to do is each of the agencies that talked about what they're doing, because Linda mentioned something, Angelina mentioned something. I talked about our Make It Cozy, and Beth talked about the Care Portal. So we might want to get the groups together. So hopefully we'll reflect these details in the minutes, and then Josh, we can kind of organize something for the Policy Advocacy Committee to kind of drill down with what the resources are, and then do some mapping to have some discussions and see what other creative ideas we can come up with, and then bring it back to the continuum of care. Thank you, Beth. I really appreciate that. And speaking of, I wanted to share this one last announcement, and I apologize, I skipped over agenda item 7. I'll go back to it, but I do a lot of presentations in the community to partner for our Make It Cozy warehouse, and a lot of them are in the faith community. And on Sunday, I was presenting before a faith partner in Corona and talked about the ways that faith-based organizations can do move-in kits or donation of furniture, or all different types of ways that they can collaborate with our existing nonprofits and what we're doing to end homelessness. And I just want to tell you all, you never really know who you may be talking to who may have lived experience, because after the presentation, and I did share this with some of you, There was actually a member of the choir who came up to me and threw her arms around me. She was in tears and said that she was so thrilled to see city government working to try to address homelessness. She had previously been homeless for 20 years, was a meth addict, hardcore, like shooting meth, had been in and out of the criminal justice system, and is now completely stable, living a wonderful life, and now super excited to be able to give back. And I just, my heart melted because now she wants to get plugged in a greater level to be able to give back to the community. So you just never know sometimes, you know, who you're talking to and how you can make a connection. And I think we all know that lived experience is extremely powerful when people can share what they had to go through to move out of the crisis of homelessness. So I will go ahead and go back up to agenda item 7. Were there any calls for something to be placed on the agenda? We already talked about the opportunity for regional warehousing, which we're going to do. Anybody else? Okay. Before I adjourn, I wanted to draw your attention to the future meetings. Staff did a nice job. You can see under agenda item 9.1, the upcoming meetings for the BOG, Continuum of Care and Youth Advisory Committee. So just, oh, looks like Kimberly, did you have something you wanted to say?
Sorry, no, it keeps popping up. Sorry.
Oh, there's a Kimberly Thomas. You had your hand up, Kimberly Thomas. No? Okay. Well, you guys, thank you for all the amazing work that you do. You guys are my heroes, my inspiration. I appreciate you all more than you will ever know. It is truly a privilege to be in this work with you as we're transforming lives. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you at the next meeting. Take care. The meeting is adjourned.
Great job, Karen.
It's my privilege. I love it so much just to be with you guys. So thank you. Take care.